You think you know yourself. You've done the work, read the books, mastered the art of independence, but there's something you're missing, something so fundamental about your own nature that it's been sabotaging your potential for years. The most dangerous enemy of the Sigma male isn't the world, it's the lies he tells himself. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Sigma males are masters of external observation, but often blind to their own internal patterns. You can read a room in seconds, predict human behavior with surgical precision, and navigate complex social dynamics like a ghost in the machine. But when it comes to understanding your own psychological blueprints, you have massive blind spots. Today, we're going to expose the 5 things Sigma males consistently get wrong about themselves. Misconceptions so deeply embedded that even the most self-aware Sigmas fall victim to them. This isn't about criticism. This is about liberation. Because the moment you see these patterns clearly, everything changes. Blind spot number 1. You think your independence is complete. Ever wonder why your independence sometimes feels like a prison? Here's what most Sigma males don't realize. You've mastered independence from people, but you're still completely dependent on your image of yourself as independent. You've created a new kind of cage, one built from your own identity. Meet Thomas, a 35-year-old software developer who prides himself on needing nobody. He works remotely, lives alone, handles his own finances, fixes his own problems. His internal monologue is pure self-reliance. I don't need anyone. I'm completely free. But here's what Thomas can't see. He's become so addicted to proving his independence that he's lost the freedom to choose dependence when it might actually serve him. When a startup offered him a partnership that required collaboration, Thomas didn't evaluate it on merit. He rejected it because accepting would threaten his self-image. The paradox? True independence includes the freedom to be dependent when it's strategic. The Sigma who can't choose vulnerability isn't free. He's trapped by his own strength. Here's the catch. Your independence has become your identity, and now your identity is controlling your choices. That's not freedom. That's just a more sophisticated form of imprisonment. Blind spot number 2. You mistake observation for connection. This one cuts deep because it touches the core of how Sigmas interact with the world. Most people think Sigmas don't understand others. But the truth is more complex. You understand people perfectly from the outside. You can predict their motivations, decode their behaviors, anticipate their reactions. You're like a master anthropologist studying a foreign tribe. But there's a crucial difference between understanding someone and connecting with them. Consider Sarah, who's been trying to get closer to Jake, a 38-year-old Sigma, for months. Jake can tell you exactly why Sarah laughs at certain jokes, why she chooses specific restaurants, even what her childhood insecurities are, based on subtle behavioral cues. But when Sarah asks him, "How do you feel about us?" Jake freezes. His internal response is analytical. She's seeking emotional validation based on attachment patterns formed in early relationships with inconsistent caregivers. What Jake doesn't realize, he's analyzing Sarah's need for connection instead of actually connecting with her. He's so busy being the observer that he's forgotten how to be a participant. The deeper truth? Your gift for reading people has become a defense mechanism that keeps you from being read by them. You maintain emotional distance by intellectualizing emotional situations, but here's what you're missing. Connection isn't about understanding someone's psychological patterns. It's about sharing your own, and that terrifies you because it requires the one thing you've never mastered: emotional vulnerability. Blind spot number 3, your solitude is partially avoidance. This is the hardest truth for Sigmas to swallow because it challenges the foundation of their entire worldview. You've convinced yourself that you choose solitude because you enjoy it. But what if that's only half the story? The uncomfortable reality is that some of your preference for solitude isn't about loving your own company. It's about avoiding the complexity of human relationships. You've turned avoidance into a philosophy and called it wisdom. Take Marcus, a 41-year-old consultant who spends weekends hiking alone, evenings reading philosophy, and vacations traveling solo. He'll tell anyone who listens about the profound peace of solitude, the clarity it brings, the freedom from social obligations. But dig deeper, And you'll find something Marcus doesn't want to acknowledge. It's not that I love being alone, it's that being with others is exhausting in ways I don't know how to handle. Here's what's really happening. You've become so skilled at managing your external environment that you've never learned to manage the internal chaos that comes with deep human connection. So you avoid it and call it preference. The pattern you can't see: every time a relationship demands more emotional labor than you're comfortable with, you retreat. Every time someone wants to go deeper than surface-level interaction, you create distance. You've mistaken emotional efficiency for emotional wisdom. Most people don't realize this, but true solitude is chosen from a place of fulfillment, not escape. If you're using solitude to avoid dealing with your own emotional complexity, you're not finding peace, you're just postponing the work. Blind spot number 4. You underestimate your impact on others. This blind spot is particularly dangerous because it affects every relationship you have without you even realizing it. Ever noticed how people react to you in ways that seem disproportionate to what you actually said or did? Here's what you're missing. Your presence has weight. Your words have power. Your indifference has impact. But because you experience yourself from the inside, where your thoughts feel normal and your reactions feel measured, you severely underestimate how you affect others. David, a 36-year-old manager, considers himself low-key and non-threatening. He speaks quietly, keeps to himself, rarely offers opinions unless asked. In his mind, he's practically invisible. His self-perception is, I barely register on anyone's radar, I'm just background noise. But here's what David can't see. His team is constantly trying to decode his reactions. When he stays quiet during meetings, people assume he disapproves. When he gives short responses, they think they've done something wrong. When he works alone, they interpret it as rejection. The reality? David's attempts to be low impact are actually high impact because of their very unpredictability. People don't know how to read someone who gives so few social cues, so they create their own interpretations, usually negative ones. Here's the catch. Your emotional unavailability doesn't make you neutral. It makes you mysterious. And mystery, especially from someone competent, creates anxiety, fascination, and often obsession in others. What you don't understand: people invest more emotional energy trying to figure out the sigma who's not giving them feedback than they do in relationships with more emotionally available people. Your indifference has become accidentally magnetic. Blind spot number 5. You've confused self-reliance with self-knowledge. This is the deepest blind spot, the one that underlies all the others. Most people assume that because you're self-reliant, you're self-aware. Wrong. You've mastered the external mechanics of independence. Handling your own problems, making your own decisions, managing your own life. But self-reliance and self-knowledge are completely different skills, and mastering one doesn't automatically give you the other. Consider Alex, a 43-year-old entrepreneur who's built 2 successful companies, owns his home outright, and has never needed to ask anyone for help. He's the definition of self-made. But ask Alex why he chose his career, what drives his need for control, or what he's actually afraid of, and you'll get surface-level answers. His honest internal response would be, I know how to handle problems, but I've never really examined why I need to handle them alone. I know what I do, but I'm not sure I know who I am beneath all the doing. The most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves because they feel like truth. For years, you've been living according to a self-image that's partially accurate and partially protective fiction. The accurate parts have served you well. But the fictional parts? They're keeping you from becoming the man you're actually capable of being. Here's what I know about you. You have the intelligence to see these patterns once they're pointed out. You have the courage to face uncomfortable truths about yourself. And you have the discipline to do the work of genuine self-examination. The question is, will you? If this video made you uncomfortable, if it challenged assumptions you've held about yourself for years, then it did its job. Real growth lives in discomfort. Drop a comment below with the word mirror if you recognize yourself in any of these blind spots. And tell me which one hit hardest, because the one that triggers you most is probably the one you most need to examine. Hit that like button if you're ready to trade comfortable self-deception for uncomfortable self-truth. And subscribe because we're going deeper into the psychology of high-value men who are brave enough to question their own narratives. Remember, the unexamined Sigma is just a smart man with sophisticated defense mechanisms. The examined Sigma? He's unstoppable. Until next time, keep questioning, especially yourself.